He made the world laugh. He bent his body, twisted his voice, stretched his face, all for a punchline. But behind the mask was a man battling demons we never saw. Jim Carrey, comedy's wild genius, Hollywood's rubber-faced king, and a soul on a quiet journey towards something far deeper. This is the story of Jim Carrey. The rise, the fame, the fall, and the transformation. He's been called the king of comedy, the master of mimicry, a human cartoon. But Jim Carrey is more than just laughs. Born in Canada and raised in hardship, Carrey rose from the shadows of poverty to dominate the golden age of 90s comedy. With a face like rubber and a voice like elastic, he captured the hearts of millions, not with perfection, but with fearless absurdity. In the span of a single year, he headlined 3 blockbuster films. In the span of a decade, he reshaped modern comedy. Yet underneath it all was a mind grappling with questions far bigger than fame. He entertained the world and then slowly stepped away from it. This is the story of a man who made a living wearing masks and spent the second half of his life trying to take them off. Born in Newmarket, Ontario, Jim Carrey wasn't raised with the Hollywood glow. His father was a struggling musician turned accountant. His mother battled chronic illness. Money was tight, and it got tighter. At one point, the Carey family lived out of a van. Jim dropped out of high school to work as a janitor and help support them. But even in the darkness, he believed he was destined for something more. One night, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, it read. Dated Thanksgiving, 1995. He carried it everywhere, not just as a dream, but a decision. Before he ever starred in a blockbuster, Jim Carrey made a bold promise to himself. He kept that check in his wallet, worn, creased, carrying it everywhere as a reminder of what he believed he was worth. While most knew him for his films, Jim Carrey's first superpower was stand-up. But 1994 changed everything. 3 films, 1 phenomenon, Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. His comedy was wild, unhinged, magnetic, and behind every wild swing was control, mastery. But Jim Carrey didn't stop at funny. He wanted meaning. He wanted to prove he could make you laugh and make you think. With The Truman Show, the world realized Jim Carrey was more than a clown. He was an artist. Fame had arrived, and with it, the pressure to stay larger than life. But behind the laughs, Jim was struggling. In the 2010s, personal tragedy struck. His former girlfriend, Catriona White, died from an overdose, and Jim was pulled into a lethal and emotional storm that played out in the press. As his career slowed, some questioned whether the spotlight had faded. But Jim wasn't hiding. He was evolving. The man who once wrote himself a $10 million check had started asking bigger questions. Who am I? What's real? And why are we here? Carrey's personal life was always a subject of fascination. Relationships with Renee Zellweger, Jenny McCarthy, and others often played out in the tabloids. But behind it all was a man searching for peace. In the late 2010s, Carrey turned to painting. Large-scale political portraits and emotional self-portraits filled his studio. He said art helped him express what words and films never could. He stopped chasing fame. He stopped taking roles. He let go of Jim Carrey, the character he believed he'd been playing his entire life. And in its place emerged something new, a softer voice, a quieter life, a deeper awareness. Jim Carrey's legacy is cemented in comedy history. His physicality, fearlessness, and emotional range changed what a comedic actor could be. But his impact stretches further, inspiring actors, comedians, and thinkers alike. He proved that laughter can come from pain, and that fame doesn't always bring fulfillment. In recent years, Carrey made a surprising return in Sonic the Hedgehog, playing the villainous Dr. Robotnik, a role that reintroduced him to a new generation. But in 2022, he announced he was fairly serious about retiring from acting. "I have enough," he said. "I've done enough." Now he paints, reflects, lives quietly, far from the spotlight he once dominated. Jim Carrey isn't just a comedy legend. He's a symbol of transformation, of a man who had everything and chose something else. From roaring laughter to quiet introspection, from slapstick chaos to soulful questions, his story reminds us that identity is fluid and meaning is found far beyond the spotlight. Is Jim Carrey the funniest man alive? A misunderstood philosopher? Or someone still discovering who he truly is? Maybe he's all of them, and maybe that's the point. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of Jim Carrey, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories about the icons who shape our culture. Thank you for watching.